Hello everyone and welcome to another I Pick My Butt video. More Survivor.io and chapter 57. Finally beat this freaking thing. This one's a really annoying one, not gonna lie on this. And I gotta say, if you do plan on leaving this video at any point, go all the way to the very end, watch the boss fight, and watch to see how close I was winning just by the skin of my teeth there. Is that what they say? Is that even the right expression, skin of the teeth? I always tend to say it, but we're just gonna roll with it. So one of the big things that I did do was I was able to upgrade and evo the Light Chaser pretty early on in the game. The other thing I was kind of stacking too was I was stacking the Black Drone. That definitely helps out in the beginning with kind of just hitting some of those tankier enemies or mobs inside the game. Now, prior to playing this round right here, what I was always going for was obviously evoing the Light Chaser, evoing the drones. I was big on getting the Guardian, getting that to evo, getting the Rocket, getting that to evo, and also getting the lightning emitter. Obviously, I would evo the lightning emitter too if I could, and when the time came and I finally evoed the drone, I had that extra slot freed up, so I would typically try to go for the drill inside it. And that extra slot for the drones, I would try to pick the attack, but as we know, things don't always work the way we want to, and they didn't actually go that way in this battle with me right here. So some of the main focuses I was always worried about in this run and in the other runs is obviously I want to get that Light Chaser evoed. That usually helps out pretty quickly, but I will sidestep it a little bit to get a couple of the drones up just to have that little bit of extra attack kind of stacked up on it. And I tried times where I didn't go and evo the drone right away, and other times where I evoed it fast. And a lot of my thought process was in this that I needed to get the lightning emitter and get that cooldown from the actual energy cell inside it. So, you know, make the attacks go a little faster. Now the tricky part is yes, I want to get the Light Chaser evoed, I want to get the drone evoed, but by the time 11 minutes hits, I need to have my Guardian evoed, and I need to have some good amount of HE fuel behind it to extend the range, and it really makes it where we can whack those fire-breathing dragons like you see right there. They're all going to mob in at 11-minute mark, but it's going to make it where we're going to keep them far enough away where we're not going to get hit by their flames, and we can deal with the elites that come at us. Now on a side note, up to the 11-minute mark, or before the 11-minute mark, forget the 11-minute mark. But these blue dragons, every single one of these little lizard guys has to die in my eyes because they do drop good loot, so I'm going to try everything I can to kill every last little one of them, even if I'm chasing across the screen on them. So out of all my runs, I probably played this maybe, I'd say 40 times altogether until I finally beat it. Seems like a lot. But even the times that I didn't get the Guardian, the rockets, having those with the HE fuel seemed to be enough to get her done. In this run, for example, I didn't even get the lightning emitter for the cooldown, but I was able to max out the Guardian, I was able to max out that HE fuel, and that really seems to be the big thing on this. The HE fuel is a must on this if you're using the Light Chaser. People have said that the bat, red bat, legend bat, way to go on it. I wish I could go that route, but unfortunately, you know how tough it is to get legends. I'm still not there yet. I barely have enough to take my kunai up to legends, so that's where we're kind of sitting. So we're Light Chaser all the way. That's kind of the route we're going. But really, with having the Light Chaser, even the drones, when it comes to the final boss and having that extra range from the actual HE fuel, it's definitely enough to maybe kind of get the boss to, you know, get hit by some of those drones. Up to that point, I was playing, okay, the drones are for everything before the final boss. We need to kind of figure out things to get them, like, you know, the Whispering Arrow. We need to get rockets at them. We need to get lightning emitter. I was trying to look at everything that was single target DPS and just relying on my Light Chaser and the Guardian to kind of take care of everything that was mob related. But in this one, it didn't really go that route. So, and I actually didn't even pair up all my evos the way I would have liked to. We got the soccer ball and we got the fitness guide for the brick. So I wasn't even able to evo that. Another one I went for in this was the durian. I wouldn't typically go for that either in this level. I mean, yes, it does do some great things, and the durian, big fan of it earlier, but now towards late game, it's not really a high priority as much as I thought it was. I mean, when it first came out, it seemed so OP. It was crushing through the chapters, but the late game stuff, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's the durian. You know, we'll grab that. If we have rockets, sweet. We're going to save up a spot on our modifiers. Let's just go with it and see what happens. We'll grab something else. In the video I made the other day about bomb farming, that was pretty much what I was doing pretty solidly and pretty steadily every time I play this chapter. But this one, I really didn't do it that much. I tried. I didn't really get a lot of bombs, but because of the fact I evoed this Light Chaser so fast, it kind of gave me the option just to kind of run through and collect as much biofuel as I could inside the game. So that's why you don't really see me stacking them all up. Believe me, if I would have seen a lot of bombs and I had an area there where we had like 4 of them sitting around, I would have used them. Now, in that note, I still did make sure I had a bomb sitting around for the 9-minute mark and for the 11-minute mark, and I think I tried to find one for the 12 or 13, but once I realized I was able to handle the mobs a little bit better, it really wasn't too much of a concern. The other nice thing too is when the 12-minute mob came out, or the elite there, when I did have enough HE fuel and it was maxed out, the drone was able to hit him without having the fire hit me. So I was just kind of just walking away, and it's like, oh man, this drone is just targeting. I'm clearing out everything in front of me with a light chaser. And it was just really kind of like a zen moment, I guess you would call it. It's like, wow, this is wonderful. This is a perfect situation. And then luckily I didn't get hit by the fire trail, which usually happens when I start getting cocky inside the game, but it worked out pretty good. Let's just put it that way. So in case you didn't see it right at the beginning, we're sitting about 17k for attack. We're a little under, and we're also a little under for about 60k in health inside the game. As far as all this gear that we're using and wearing, we're still running full S grade except for the stylish belt. It's the only thing we don't have yet, and even if we did, probably still gonna be running the stylish belt on it just to have that little safety bubble around us. But you can see everything's looking pretty easy, and it's looking like it's in a pretty good direction so far in it. I think we grabbed an attack boost early on, which seems like that little extra 10% really does make a little bit of a difference. The other nice thing about that HE fuel tool is it's going to expand that circle for our legendary skill there that the light chaser puts out. So I want to introduce you guys here to something new. This is what I call the patented iPICKmyBUTT V tactic, or the V movement on this. I used to just kind of go back and forth and up and down, but you see, going by a letter V on that definitely makes it a lot easier. Just kind of learn a little spacing on it. I guess I can say I patented it, but it's just making the shape of a letter V. Now, the other great thing about having that drone evolved up is you saw how fast we dropped that first boss. So that's the other main priority that I want to get those drones up, is really not so much for the 5-minute boss, but the 10-minute boss. When you first run into that guy, he's very scary, very intimidating, given that it's a he. It could be a she. You know, I don't want to be not politically correct here, but let's just call it that, or whatever. It's a pain in the butt if you don't know what you're coming up against. And if you're using a weapon that's not a AoE style, which is going to block projectiles, it can definitely hurt you. So be cautious of that too. Like I said, people are going bad on this. I'm going light chaser. I think that's really the best bet on this, is to go something that's going to be mob related for a weapon versus going single target. I did try going in with the kunai a couple of times, and it was just a struggle even making it to 11-minute mark. I mean, if I didn't get it evoed up fast enough, it just wasn't enough, and it just didn't feel right with it. Things were just too many mobs, too tanky, and I was just getting beat on. I was dropping bombs, and I was just grabbing whatever food I could. So I'd really like to say, if you are going to go and try to do this, you need to throw a wave style on. But prove me wrong. I'm sure there's people out there beating with otherwise. I'd love to hear what other people are using. But that's pretty much what I've been told and what I was able to do with it. So after beating the boss all the way up to the 9-minute mark, this is going to pretty much be your farm time on you here. Nothing real too worried about, but there will be a point where you're going to get a whole bunch of red lizards and blue lizards come down from the top. So if you don't have enough to beat them, just kind of start working your way down to the bottom, and then they'll slowly fizzle out. Give you a chance to kind of go and, you know, just pick them off one by one. I like to go up towards them when the time comes, because they're not all so condensed. If you are running away from them, they do just kind of tend to be like 50 of those blue fire breathing ones. But if you're going at them, it's going to be like maybe 7 or 8 of them at a time. So we're almost there at that point. But when the 9-minute mark comes out, that's where you're going to see another elite, and you're going to see a bunch of the piggies, which is another aspect to this, which really screws things up. Now, you can run back and forth, like I was saying in the bottom video. It is a great tactic to use on this, even if you don't get the abilities you want. It does help out a lot with the 11-minute mark. One of the big points about this, which I wasn't able to actually do it, we did die once before going into the final boss, is you really want to try to go into it with having all your revives. Now, another thing I want to talk about is this whole soccer event going on right now. At first, it seemed like a lot of fun. It seemed cool, but I'm losing a lot on this thing. And it's not fun when you're losing, let's be honest. And it's just a bad idea altogether to combine a game with some sort of betting aspect on it. And I think it's really not the most practical and, I don't know, smartest way to kind of teach kids, hey, this is how you bet on this and this is how you bet on that. And look, you could win a lot of stuff. I mean, I guess it's a good note that, you know, people are probably going to lose. So maybe it's one of those things of saying, you know, hey, you bet, You're not always going to win, so maybe it is a life lesson. But overall, it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be, and I'm kind of looking at it now like, geez, this thing's going to be lasting 29 days, you know. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of it as much as I was in the beginning. Maybe that's just because I'm losing, but curious to know what you guys think of it, if you guys are liking it. But here comes a point right now where we have the oop, and I'm just going to leave that one in there because that just sounded way too funny on it. Sometimes when you're editing, you just start tripping over your tongue and your words on the game, and that one I just got to listen to it a couple of times there because I don't know what I was trying to say, but that just sounded ridiculous. So that's what you guys missed behind the scene. I guess a little bit of bloopers for you guys there, but man, that one cracked me up. So we're getting ready to come up to around the 9-minute mark here, which is going to be the first, I don't know, I guess call it pain in the butt elite. Not the worst one in the world, but something you should be kind of aware of. And you definitely want to have a bomb around just to kind of clear out whatever initial, type mobs that come rushing into you. Ideally, if I could, I'd be finding 2 bombs just to pop them both right away, just to really clear kind of the space of that elite. But unfortunately, I don't think we actually had 2 of them on this. I think we just had 1 of them. So we'll at least get there so we can have it right when that 9-minute comes in, because just like always, they're just all going to rush in at once, kind of crowd the screen a little bit. Not as bad as the 11-minute mark, but it's still a little bit of a pain in the butt. So you can see the pigs coming in here, and it's one of those fire-breathing dragons. What I typically do when I run into this guy, decision here, let's go for the Guardian. I'm going to kind of just do a half circle, back and forth, and I need to time it properly so I don't get hit with those flames. So that one dropped incredibly fast there. I think that's because the attack and the drones just kind of be maxed out. But now we're just going to kind of sit here. We're going to work our way a little bit. The second I see a magnet, we're just going to kind of stop right there, which we have one on the right-hand side. So for here, it's just kind of, I'm going to camp out, kind of go through. Sometimes I'll get a little bored. I'll run back and forth on it. But realistically, we're good enough just to kind of camp there and see. So just checking to see what I have for actual stats inside the game so we know, do we go and grab the chest right away, or do we grab the magnet first to try to see if we can evo something up before going, or once we finally finish this next boss. Luckily, I could say we're in a pretty good state right now here. The Guardian is keeping up pretty good. We got a good range on it, which is making the full circle all the way to the edges of the board. So we're pretty set right now, or at least in a good spot for this. It's still not enough, but we're pretty decent. So when it comes to this boss, there's a couple of things that can one-shot you on it. The first thing is he's going to throw poison. Oh, it's going to throw poison. So if you are standing on the spot where the poison hits, it is going to go one-shot you, drop you dead. The other thing, when you kind of see him doing that kind of slash thing, he is shooting out projectiles on it. Now, there will be some times where it looks like it's hitting me. I don't know if it's just the Guardian glitching out on it or if it's just the animations on it, but I don't get hit by it. But he will throw 3 of those out. Other than that, there's a poison. Once a poison does hit the ground, you can walk through it. But like I said, stay out of those red circles here and you'll be steering clear. And this guy, as big as they are, it's really not too scary going up against him. Just work your way around him. From here, you officially have 1 minute before hell breaks loose. So this is going to be kind of looking around for those bomb spots. If you have them, I'm typically running back and forth. And if I see a bomb, I'm kind of looking at the time and saying, okay, if I run down this far, do I have enough time to make it back to that bomb right when that 11-minute mark hits? So we got a bomb right there. That's probably where we're going to be going back to. I got maybe about 20 seconds of going down in the down direction before I have to say, okay, I'm going to turn around to go for that bomb, if that's a bomb we're going to hang out and stick by. But we got our bomb right here, so we can probably figure 15 seconds down, 15 seconds back up, unless we see another one. But it looks like here I'm just going to say, hey, we'll just kind of know that that one's there, and maybe we'll get some more coming from here, which there's another one. Doesn't really seem like we're going to get a lot grouped up on it, but we'll just take what we can get, go for one of them, and hopefully it's enough to survive on it, which luckily for me, obviously we beat it, so it was. So we're going to grab that one there, just kind of clear out whatever extra loot we have, because we have the magnet down here, and just trying to really level up the last few seconds that I can. Yeah, we'll go for the Guardian there just to get that. Had me a little bit nervous, though, that I wasn't going to be able to keep these things away, but as I said, this is where things tend to be a pain. Luckily, it looks like we're kind of keeping them okay distance, but you see how they're kind of just going to go and box us in. So luckily, we're able to get this thing evoed right here, but it looks like we're in pretty decent shape. So if I do find that those flames are pretty close, I'll do even what I'm doing right now, just kind of a little tiny step forward in one direction. You don't want to get too cocky with it, because then you'll start getting hit by the flames, drop down. It seems like every maybe 5 seconds or so, there might be one that kind of just hits you. So it can slowly trickle you down if you are moving a little bit too fast. So just kind of pace yourself, feel it out on it. I think we're going to go for the attack up here just to kind of keep anything extra away. But realistically, the actual HE fuel does help out on the light chaser. You can see once this 12-minute mark comes around, we start to fizzle out on these blue dragons, so it's nothing really too much of a threat. I think the dragon itself that for the elite comes out from the bottom on this, which gives us some room to walk away. So look at that bomb right there. We'll just go pop this thing real quick in a second once it gets a little bit closer. And same thing as before, we're just going to kind of work our way on a half distance on it, but this is where I realized, oh, look at this. The flame's not hitting me. I can just kind of keep on walking forward. I am getting pretty close to it though, so I got to be careful on it. But this is what I was talking about, having that HE fuel really maxed out. You see it with the Guardian, you see it with the drones there. It's definitely helping out, and it seems like it is a must if you want to try to survive on this. Now, I think by the time the next elite comes out, we do die once, which was kind of disappointing, where I go, man, we were doing so good, we made it so far. Having that death there really seemed like it was going to screw things up and end it early, just like all the other times that I play this. But like I said, we survived on it. So if we can, we're going to just once again try to find our bomb, because that elite's going to come with a whole bunch of pigs with it too. So it's definitely not something you want to be stuck in a situation of not having enough bombs. If I do have 3 or 4 of them, I would save them for it, because they really do engulf you on it. And especially all that elite's taking all the tankiness, it's taking all the aggro. So you're mainly focused on that, which kind of prevents you from doing damage to the mobs, which means that they're going to go and kind of, you know, just swarm on you. So having the drone hitting the mobs too really does seem to help. And you can see the difference of when you have it and when you don't have it hitting the mobs, especially on this one right here. So 13-minute mark, here they all come. We're going to have the actual guy right there, throw some max at us. And it doesn't seem too bad so far, but you can see it's just going to keep on getting smaller and smaller. Usually I'm pretty decent for kind of navigating my way through and avoiding hits from this guy. But this was just the first run of the game, and I guess I'm just off my game for the day. So is what it is. We take a loss on it right here. Bam, we'll revive up. And sometimes it can be hard to recover when you get all those mobs around you. At least the one that you're not spending the gems on, at least that's going to kind of go and cause like a bomb effect and kill what's around you. But luckily, we're able to kind of just maintain. So the fact that I know I can maintain right here, and we have that magnet sitting, now it's just literally a minute and a half of just camping out right here. We're just going to store up whatever biofuel we can and just kind of wait and make sure nothing gets too close. Now, there will be times where a pig does get a little bit closer than I like to it, but you can see we're just able to just kind of stay here safely on it. And look at the range on that actual light chaser legendary effect there. It's definitely, I mean, it's taken the inside of the circle there for the Guardian. So that's another huge thing of why I would say HE fuel is probably one of your top priorities here for just making sure that keeping things away, making sure you're able to hit things. And as I said, when it comes down to the final boss, it seemed like I was hitting a lot more with the drone than I was in R1s where I didn't have that HE fuel. Because yes, it is a small map. He does bounce around a lot, but he's never really at one edge. So you're able to just kind of go make the hits to it, even when he's in the middle, and you don't really have to worry about getting too close, because you get too close to him, it's going to pretty much ensure that you're going to be dead. So pretty much just checking the stats here to see what I can evo in when I collect this magnet, and unfortunately we weren't able to get the evo for the soccer ball because we never grabbed the running shoes. But not the end of the world. I'm going to focus on getting the durian on it, and hopefully hitting that thing kind of to its max, to its evil, will be enough to do some damage. But we were able to get those HE fuels max. We were able to get the attack plus the HE bullet to max, so those are definitely going to help out too. Times where I didn't grab the bullet, it seemed like I was still kind of okay, but it definitely is a huge help on it. So now we'll just kind of go stacking whatever looks best here. I was thinking about the damage received minus 40%, but I said, you know what? It's probably not going to make that much of a difference. He's still going to one-shot me on things. So that's where I kind of pumped into the soccer balls just to see what we can get. And there we go for the durian. Now, Chairman, pain in the butt. I try to just kind of hang out on one side here. If he gets too close, I'll go run to the other side. But as you can see, we're already taking hits on it. Luckily, we had that meat there just kind of hanging out. But a lot of just kind of camping out in the corners. And if we do see one of those phones coming at us, just moving over the other corner. And I'm just playing awful. I'm going, man, you know, we made it all the way. We had a good amount of lives, and I'm just going to ruin it right here. We're going to throw the game pretty much. And a lot of times I feel like with these phones, it's kind of like driving in the snow, you know, whatever you're looking at, you're going to just go run right towards it. So they always say car crashes, if you're in the snow, you're sliding, don't look at the cars, look at the open space, and naturally your brain will go there. Well, I should be looking at those open spaces on this because I'm getting hit left and right. But bam, there's the last final revive on it. And I'm going, man, we are so close. Can I do this? And I think we take another hit. I think it's bam, right there. Bam, another one by the phone. I'm going, oh, geez. Yep, I'm going to die with a sliver. But luckily, we were able to maintain and take them down. So call it luck, call it what you want. I'm calling it completed. I'm happy about it. But you can really see why 3 lives are really needed at the end of this to take care of this guy. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, I pick my butt.